This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details. And
Bonus Bucks is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. That's every hour from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. To enter the keywords and learn more, head to KFAN.com. Bonus Bucks is presented by 2 men and a junk truck.
Is truncated. A late start, 1 o'clock, PJ Flex Show at 12 noon. I'm sure the head coach will be rowing that boat. Sky U Ma'in and go Gophers with a big win over Rutgers at Huntington Bank Stadium this past Saturday. I watched a good portion of that game. I really, truly did. Found myself rubing it up with the Gophers. Then their triumphant return of the legendary Mark Rosen at 2 o'clock. Wednesday, 12:30, Brian Oak Rock Talk, and my favorite part of Rock Talk, Rock Rank. So we got plenty coming up for you this week.
We're filled with guests Wednesday.
Chip Scoggins.
Because Rosen wasn't going to be there.
Yes.
So I booked Chip Scoggins to fill in for Rosen from 2 to 3, but now Rosen's back.
Okay. So
I had to just move Chip to 1 o'clock. So basically 2.5 hours and 3 hours on Wednesday.
All guests. And Chip's okay with it?
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to be like a regular radio show. Actually, I have a lot of guests. Just jam in. It makes it.
You could even leave a segment early.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what PA schedule is like right now either. He might be on tomorrow, might not. He might do an hour. He might do 20 minutes.
Can he do the show from London?
I think he can, but I think it's just to his whim and fancy. If he feels like being on, he'll be on. If he doesn't, he doesn't. And I think it just waits to the last minute to make it. It's good to be PA. When you're the national treasure, you do whatever you want to do. It's time for 5-3-4 now here on the Common Man program.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1. It's time now for a look at the Lynx.
Maybe our last look at the Lynx for a while because their season is over after losing 86-81 last night in Phoenix, falling to the Mercury 3-1. The Lynx were without star forward Nafisa Collier, who was sidelined because of a left ankle injury, and without head coach Cheryl Reeve after she was handed a 1-game suspension from the WNBA for confronting the officials. Common, your thoughts on the Lynx's collapse in this series?
Oh, she confronted the officials. All right. There was more to it than that. She popped a bolt. It almost appeared she had a nervous breakdown.
A couple bolts.
The game was getting away from them. MVP had the ball taken from her. She collapsed to the ground. There was contact after the ball got tipped away. I don't know enough about the rules of I don't know what a foul is anymore. I don't know if I've ever really known. But the Reeve was beside herself. She thought there was a foul on the play. In the post-game news conference, she was bitter. She criticized the officiating, says that they basically needed to redo the entire officiating department, top to bottom, she basically said. She said... a
bold strategy to go with when your series isn't over.
I think she said Fee may have fractured her leg. The league issued a statement saying, we reviewed the play. The contact was inadvertent after the ball was chipped away. There was no foul called. So that's just whether you believe it was or not, that's what they determined. She left the bench and chased the officials onto the court. When she left, she was screaming at fans who I think were taunting her. And then she said it was the refereeing was bleeping malpractice. I mean, I think she dropped an F-bomb, if I'm not mistaken. She just totally lost it. And again, I understand that emotions run high. This is what you do for a living. You put everything into it. You put your heart, you put your soul into it. But, man, that's just, you got to have, that was almost Bobby Knight / Woody Hayes like. Remember when Bobby Knight would threw a chair across the court? And if you remember Woody Hayes, the classic, when he I think a Clemson guy in a bowl game or something intercepted a pass and Woody Hayes grabbed him and punched him. I mean, it was just, you have to control your emotions better than that. And it certainly didn't help that not to have the head coach there. So not only do you have that public embarrassment like that, but then you're not there for your team, right? And I think the assistants did a fine. But I watched some of that fourth quarter? I think they had a 13-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Am I right there? Do you? I
remember. I know they blew a lead.
I think they blew two different leads, but they blew a lead, and it was just bad. And it. Look, I was fooled. Again, I'm not paying as close attention to Lynx basketball specifically and the WNBA in general as I once did, but I was convinced they were going to win the title. They were so good all year, the best team all year. The Liberty would be considered because of what happened last year. That was kind of the team that I think they really wanted to get. The Liberty got knocked out before they had a chance to have that rematch of last year's finals pairing. And to lose like that, and I'm sure the Uranuses or the Neptunes or whatever they're called out of Phoenix, I'm sure they're a quality club, but that's just bad. I don't know what you do now, but that was an embarrassment. The whole thing. This
is not a good look.
No,
like it's one thing to go out that way.
Yeah,
right. And as the head coach and basically GM of your team, you are setting the tone for how your players are going to react. If that's how you handle adversity,
yeah.
That's how your players are going to handle adversity.
Yeah, it was
when things get a little tough.
It was awful. Anger management.
Question number 2.
I could use them sometimes.
It's time now for the lowdown in Dinkytown.
One team that handled adversity, that would be your Gophers football team, because they rallied from an early 14-0 deficit Saturday. They come back to beat Rutgers 31-28 at Huntington Bank Stadium. Drake Lindsay completed 31 of 41 passes for 324 yards and 3 tutties. Coy Parrish had 11 tackles, a sack, and 96 yards in returns, including a 56-yard kickoff return. Common, what sticks out to you from the Gophers' win over the Scarlet Knights?
My first tweet saying we didn't need Callie McManus because he was brilliant early. He was so good.
Our defense was awful.
Our defense was awful, and they were just carving it up. And if you'll remember, Tenneby, and statistically, they were correct. The breathless reports of the Gopher defensive unit, they were the best Division I statistically college football defense in the game after the first 2 weeks, but they didn't play anybody those first 2 weeks to speak of. And then we saw what happened in what was week 3? Against Cal, the one that Rosen predicted we'd win only because we beat UCLA and USC last
based
year.
Off the geography prediction.
Yeah, the geography prediction. Well, we lost to them, and then this looked like it was going to be a blowout. I mean, it really did. It was 14-0, and then Gophers got back into it. The Lindsay guy, this is the first time I've ever really watched Drake Lindsay play. I didn't see any of the 3 games. He was good.
He's quality.
He looks like he's a player. And so, PJ was excited and should be. That's a nice win. Rutgers, I don't know. They're okay, right? They're all right. They're not Ohio State. They're not Oregon. They're not Penn State. They're not Michigan. But they're okay.
They don't appear to be awful.
No, they don't appear to be awful, and to rally back and win like that's fine. I don't know.
We got pretty lucky. They kind of shot themselves in the foot on that last drive.
Yeah, remind me what happened.
Well, in the shotgun formation, the center snapped it before Callie McManus ready.
Yeah.
And that basically drove them to,
Yeah.
It basically killed the drive, and now they had to kick a really long field goal because of it.
Yeah,
they missed it.
Well, and they brought in a backup kicker because their regular kicker got it blocked from 22 yards early. He kicked it right into the line.
It was so low, yeah.
And apparently he had a bad kick last week, too. So this week, when they had to kick the long one, the coach went with...
went to the bullpen.
He went to Juan Pizarro. I think he's the great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson of the Pizarro guy that discovered the Fountain of Youth. Or was that Ponce de Leon? Whatever the case may be, one of those world travelers from the Christopher Columbus days. He came in, he had enough leg, but he didn't have the distance. You're right, that's exactly... We kind of... If he doesn't snap that between the legs, I think we might lose that game. Because they were moving the ball again. They were moving it down the field, and they were still... They might have thrown got a sack or something. But yeah, we kind of got a nice break there. But hey, a W is a W is a W. Doesn't get too much tougher this week. Just the number one ranked team in the country, the Ohio State. Is that at Big House or is that here? Do you know? I think it might be at Big House. Maybe if we get them here, tend to be stranger things.
It's at their place.
Yeah, it's at Big House. It could get ugly. I don't know. Ohio State's awfully good, as we know. The number one ranked team in the defending national champions.
I would call it a good opportunity, though. That's what I would call it.
That's what the head coach would call it as well. And you know what he also said, Denby? You got to be delusional. So let's be delusional and predict we'll win.
Hey,
why not?
Hey, it's okay to win one of these every once in a while.
I think you could be right. It'd be nice.
Why not us?
We've done it before. Was it back in we always harken back to 1977 when we beat top-ranked Michigan 16-0 at the old Memorial Stadium. Maybe we can have one of those days. Got a giveaway a little bit later. I'll tell you about that on the other side of the break. We'll take a short break. That's 534 for the day.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
The Fan and 2 Men in a Junk Truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword dollar at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. That keyword is dollar. Enter it now at KFAN.com. Join KFAN's Eric Nordquist Sunday morning at Gray's Food Hall for Kegs and Eggs. Drop by starting at 8:30 a.m. to catch the Purple as they take on Cleveland from London. Plus, enjoy great food and your shot to win awesome prizes. Get the full details now at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
It's going to be you're forced to have one of these vegetables. I have a vegetable medley today.
Okay.
Cauliflower, broccoli, or asparagus.
No.
But you have to have one.
There's not a fourth part of the medley on there?
Which one of these do you think? You've not even tried those, have you? Or have you?
I have tried broccoli before.
You know how I used to get my nephews to eat broccoli? They look like trees, right? Said, let's pretend we're giants and we're eating trees. And then they would do it. And they would eat broccoli. Brilliant. My brother and his wife just loved it because they didn't want to eat vegetables. And so, you know how they look kind of like a tree if you look them on a stalk? As I said, I pretended I was a giant. It's just brilliant. It's called child psychology, and I'm very childlike. So I thought it was a brilliant.
I guess I would try the asparagus. Looks most like a green bean.
Asparagus is good, too. I think you might like it. And then again, you probably wouldn't.
Huh?
I just turned down an invitation from a sales gal. She wanted me to be Cheech or Chong for Halloween dress up here at the radio station. What do you think kind of response I gave to that? And I guess the salespeople don't know me well enough. They just see the kind of goofy, happy-go-lucky.
I can see you playing Teacher John.
Can you get me an endorsement kind of a thing? So they probably thought that I would just love to be part of Halloween costume party. I'm sorry, Tennessee. Call me a party pooper. I'm just not a big Halloween costume party guy. How about you?
No. And can't tell you the last time I wore a costume other than last year I did just because it had to be part of my daughter's group costume almost. So I will do it for my children.
What did you wear?
I believe it was a Superman costume. Should I wear that? It makes me look buff.
Somebody said, did you post that picture on social?
Probably.
Because somebody sent me a picture of it. It's probably Maury Amsterdam guy.
Yeah.
sent me a picture. I remember that you did look.
Yeah, I look ripped.
If you would have put black horn rim glasses on, I would have thought you were Clark Kent.
Need a wig.
Yeah, you would need a wig. Yeah.
I can't quite do the hair.
Hold on, give yourself a rim shot there. The giveaway. First of all, a couple of people tend to be here. Says Ohio State is the horseshoe.
Huh?
I have 2 children. Created from one of them attended Nebraska. That's Deuce, my firstborn. By the way, these first 2 children are with my first wife. My second wife hasn't been born yet. You know, your taste change as you get older. There was a time I didn't like spankings. You know what the worst part about shopping at Victoria's Secret is? They won't let you try anything on. And if you don't want me looking in your windows, close your blinds. Deuce went to Nebraska. And you know what the N on the side of the helmet stands for, Tennessee?
What's that?
Knowledge. Baby brother Peter goes to The Ohio State University. I think I would know what the name of the stadium is. They call it Big House.
Well, in the horseshoe is where Notre Dame plays because they have the luck of the Irish.
That's exactly
That's
right.
where they play.
That's right. And they've got Touchdown Moses. He stands over the stadium. Call him Touchdown Moses. And then when he goes like this, he parts the other team's defensive line, and then we're able to score for Touchdown Moses. So we got a great little giveaway today. You're a hockey fan. How about this? University of St. Thomas will face off against North Dakota.
Nice. No Dak.
No Dak on October 12th. The North Dakota Fighting Hawks, is that who they are?
I think it's the Bison.
Bison. North Dakota Bison on October 12th. It's your chance to experience the action live from Grand Casino Arena. That's got kind of a nice ring to it, Grand Casino Arena.
Yeah, GCA.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if I'm calling games for the Wild or whoever, and, you know, the game is over, I'd say jackpot, right? Jackpot, Wild win. Jackpot.
And then if they lose, 7 out.
7 out. Rock rank.
Hopefully the Wild won't fold this year.
Wait, hold on. Hopefully they won't. What's the river? Hopefully they don't get. They're not up. No, it's a creek with a paddle. Sorry, I'm really struggling now to come up with. But yeah, there's all sorts of gambling parlance you can.
Yeah.
So so we have that giveaway a little bit later. We'll give away.
I'm surprised no Dak even wants to come down here because they're not going to have much of a shot against my Tommies.
Yeah. How is that? Are all of their sports now Division I?
Yes.
And
now they're actually tournament playoff eligible. So they had to go like 4 years without. It's like the basketball team couldn't play in the NCAA tournament, but now they can. Same with the hockey team.
And last year they were really good, right? I mean, record-wise.
Basketball team, yeah.
Basketball.
And the hockey team has been quality lately. So they're going to have a shot now. They got their new facility, which I still haven't been able to check out yet, but right on campus.
And how long has it been since they went division? When they first started their first...
Well, I think it's been 4 years.
4 years, okay. Because I got to admit, and I'm not one to be negative. You know me, I'm always looking at the glass half full thing. I'm not necessarily going to say I thought it had disaster written all over, but I thought, well, it's pretty tough to go from Division III to Division I. And how long is this going to take you to be able to recruit convince kids to go, hey, we're brand new at this, when there's so many options for elite players. And I guess maybe you don't get the elite of the elite right away. But it seems like it's going fairly well for them in the sports. Would you agree with that?
Well, basketball I always thought was going to be their best shot, frankly, because the league they're playing in is not, it's not the Big Ten. It's not ACC. It's not SEC.
Summit or Pioneer?
I get them confused between the football and basketball leagues.
All right.
But the league they are playing in, they are more than capable of, playing at that level. It's not the highest of Division I competition. And they have an outstanding coach. I think is one of the most underrated coaches in town. And then on the hockey side, let's face it, there's not a better spot in the entire United States of America to draw hockey players from than the Twin Cities, than the Minneapolis-St. Paul suburban area. So, like, you already have a built-in advantage of if kids want to, well, one, you get an easier look at some of these kids, and two, if they want to stay close to home, St. Thomas is a great option for them. So I'm not surprised, especially now that they're going to have the facility they're going to have. You know, before they're playing out of, St. Thomas Academy for hockey, which fills 1,200 people, 1,500 people. Now you're going to have a big time, it's not Mariucci Arena like in terms of size, but you can fill the barn a little bit. Great size for what they have. Yeah, they should be able to compete in both. I don't know if football they're ever going to get there. And I couldn't tell you some of the other sports like baseball and, all the
right.
Volleyball and track and field and all that. I can't tell you that, but kind of your main sports in terms of basketball and hockey, they should be very competitive.
NDSU doesn't have a hockey team. UND is the Fighting Hawks.
I've played and coached hockey and now broadcasted about hockey my entire life. I think I would know.
It's the Fighting Hawks, not the Bison. UND equals Hawks. Tennis should wear a pickle costume for Halloween. That would look good. You'd look good in a pickle costume. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more controversial Vikings news on the other side of the break. And I guess we could do a post-mortem on the Twins as well. So that and so much more. Common Man program on the Fan.
We all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, challenged us, or just made learning fun. Now is your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Today's teacher of the day is Miriam Zeffirino Rosendo, who teaches at Partnership Academy and who folks told us is not only her students' teacher, but also a friend that they know they can trust on. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He is Tenneby. We are here until 3. Then Big Ticket and JG will take over. If you're new to the program, you're probably thinking to yourself, this talk show host seems uninformed, unprepared, and almost unapologetic about it. And you'd be right. I won't argue with that. If you're thinking to yourself, I'd really like to listen to a talk show host who's poised, polished, and professional, just wait, stick around. 3 o'clock. Dan Burrow, Big Ticket, will join us then. Twins finished this. I don't even know. Did they finish the season with a loss on Sunday, or did they win? They finished 70-92. I do know that.
I did see that. Yeah,
it was a 70-92 record. I shouldn't admit this working at the All Sports station, but I just skim the local sports pages. I didn't even see a story about the game. I think they just decided not to cover it. Why bother? What's the difference? So you win or you lose.
It's meaningless.
Maybe even, can something be more than meaningless? Because if it can be, that would have been the Twins' final game of the season. Bobby Nightingale is the beat writer for Twins, Fish Fry Factory West Side. He wrote a piece on, what's the date? Today is the 29th?
29th.
So this would have been Saturday. He wrote a piece that said, all eyes on Rocco Baldelli's job status as Twins reach end of another frustrating season. The sub-headline, or whatever they call that, says nearly every team with at least 90 losses this season has changed managers, and the Twins have missed the playoffs 4 of the past 5 seasons. Dateline Philadelphia, it says, during the final weekend of a disappointing Twins season, there is speculation about Rocco Baldelli's job security. Well, there should be, as mentioned in that little subtitle. Any other manager that's lost 90 games have been given his walking papers. That comes with the territory when a team drastically underachieves expectations. The Twins, who entered the season hoping to contend for a division title, are one of 5 major league teams that exceeded 30 losses this season, along with Colorado, the Chi Sox, the Nationals, and the Pirates. Baldelli said on Friday, he was asked about it, he said, I haven't heard anything, and even if I did, I wouldn't have much to say about it right now because I have a job to do right now. Me talking about that would just be a distraction, and I don't like distractions. Now, in all due respect, how much of a distraction can it be to a team that's lost 92 games? That the manager might be getting fired. So if, like, the manager would have said something to the effect of, haven't heard, I'm kind of expect to probably get fired, I would think. I mean, but, I think I've done a good job. I think there's been extenuating circumstances. They did a fire sale, et cetera, so I'd like to stay on. I don't think any, Brooks Lee.
If they were distracted, how would we know?
Well, that's it. I don't think Brooks Lee is going to be out there in the field going, man. The ball just whizzes by him on a ground ball that goes between his legs. I would have got that, but I'm distracted about the manager's job situation. It's really not a distraction, I don't think, to anybody. But it does say among the 90 lost teams, the Rockies, Nats, and Pirates fired their managers earlier this year. White Sox, the one exception, changed managers after last year when they lost an MLB record 121 games. The Nats fired GM Mike Rizzo, too. While the Denver Post reported a couple of weeks ago that it appears likely GM Bill Schmidt will be fired or reassigned at the end of the season. And the Baltimore Orioles, another underachieving team that won't quite lose 90 games, also fired manager Brandon Hyde back in May. The Twins are believed to have picked up a club option in Baldelli's contract for the 2026 season, though Baldelli and team president Derek Falvey have declined to comment about it multiple times. One Twins official said in spring training that would be inaccurate to say Baldelli was in a lame duck contractual situation. Falvey and Twins GM Jeremy Zoll are in Philly with the team, or were. I mean, this was written Saturday. But there have been no public statements about Baldelli's status for next year. The team's expected to hold a year-end news conference shortly after the season ends Sunday. Did we get one of those cute little thank you letters sent to all the season ticket holders? Every year the Twins do this. Gosh darn it, shucks. We sure tried. And, well, season didn't
turn out the way we wanted to.
Yeah, but you know what? You were still there for us. Well, you really weren't there.
Well, some of you were.
You were there for us, and you stuck with us, and we know that you wanted to cash in. What were their things they were supposed to cash in at the end of the year? Their vouchers for food? We ran out. We know we ran out on you, but we'll make it up to you next year if you buy season tickets. Those are, I saved some of them. We could probably just read any one from the last 10 years, and it'd probably be pretty accurate for what happened now. But, and to me, it's the old, you can't fire the whole team, right? I mean, well, you can. They at least tried to trade the entire team. They didn't fire him, but they traded was it 11 players they traded on a 26-man roster? I mean, that's a lot. That's almost half the roster. So while they say you can't fire the entire team, you can sure try to trade them, and that's what the Twins did. And I do see the text messages that come into booth at KFAN.com. I will occasionally go to the message boards in the Athletic and the Fish Wraps East and West just to kind of see what the fans are thinking and what they're feeling. And Baldelli does catch a lot of heat from people. And there are a number of different things people question about Baldelli. In particular, I think it's the handling of the pitching staff. Not letting pitchers go deep enough into games, sometimes letting them go too deep, not using the bullpen properly. And in his defense, the way Major League Baseball is played this year, I don't even know how much of that is left up to the manager anymore. It's almost like you get to a certain pitch count, you got to pull them out no matter how. We've seen guys pulled out of games throwing no-hitters, literally lifted after 6 innings, because I know you got a chance for baseball immortality to get your name etched in the record books forever. But you've thrown 101 pitches. We want to save your arm. We know what's best for you, and so you take care of yourself. And so sometimes it's almost out of the manager's hands. It sounds like I'm defending Falvey to Baldelli. To a certain degree, I am, because I really do think some of those things are decided from above the manager's chair. That ownership in the front office. Now the Twins don't have a ton of money invested in the team, but when you're investing large, the Twins they've been almost allergic to investing large amounts of money in starting pitching. Because I think their logic is, so you mean you want me to pay this guy $25 million a year, but he only plays once every 5 days? And we got everyday players that are contributing, want us to pay them $2.3 million a year, $5 million a year, $4, whatever it is. And that doesn't make any sense to them. So they're not big on, like I said, they're allergic to signing pitchers to long-term deals. And with the fragility of some of these arms, because now I don't think they pitch anymore. I think they actually throw more. I think it was Royce who did a piece this weekend about Byron Buxton and how well Byron Buxton's having a career year. And the one thing that Royce talked about, and I tend to agree with this, I think he's right, that it's harder for hitters to hit now than it was in the olden days because, like he said, you've got now pitchers have so many different pitchers. Now we have to describe them as slurves and cutters and this. Back in the olden days when I played baseball, you had a fastball. Kids didn't throw, not many kids could throw a curveball, and you were encouraged not to because it's bad on your elbow until you get older. But you had a fastball and a not so fastball.
A changeup.
And a changeup. And I guess some kids were trying to throw a slider, whatever the heck that is, and then you had the occasional curveball kid. And then if you're like me, you tried to throw a knuckleball every once in a while. That was all you had.
And then they got different types of fastballs.
Yeah,
a 4-seam fastball.
Exactly, and 2-seam and this and that and the other thing. And because they're throwing so many different pitchers the way they approach it now, how many times do you hear me wax nostalgic about Mickey Lolich and my beloved Detroit Tigers, 1968, pitching 3 9-inning complete game victories in the World Series? It's unheard of now. And so I think sometimes Baldelli doesn't have a choice. It says, well, this is what the organization does. It's an organizational philosophy of what we want to do. I think you've said this before, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but and if you have, maybe I said it, or maybe somebody else said it, but the idea that it seems like of all the head coaching positions, football, basketball, hockey, and baseball's kind of like, to me, I don't know how many decisions a manager makes in a game. Does he make a lot?
I mean, the lineup ahead of time is being...
That's it, isn't it?
But a computer's doing that.
Yeah. And because what is it you do? Because if the pitchers are leaving because they get to a certain pitch count, or if you're a manager and a guy, he gives up 7 runs in the first inning, guess we better go to the bullpen. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. I don't even know, and we don't really hit and run anymore. We don't sacrifice fly. We don't do those things.
No.
The team declared 2 years ago, even though they're embracing their lack of home run power now, where they go, there's other ways to score runs. But if you remember, the year they finally broke that 0-for-18 skid, what did they say? We're going to play the way we always have played. Just for those of you who are waiting for a change, it ain't happening now. We're going to throw as hard as we can with the pitchers, and we're going to swing as hard as we can to hit home runs. And so there really isn't much to it. So again, I don't want to be that guy that says, well, who are you going to get that's better? That's always a common refrain, especially when it comes to like go for football or go for basketball, right? It seems like those two programs for years and years and years were just spinning their wheels, right? They were stuck in purgatory. What comes first? Attracting blue chip McDonald's, Burger King, Culver All-Americans and getting the team and then lifting the team to a new level? Or is it getting your team to a new level and then attracting those players, coaching up your C's and your B's, right? And getting, the people that's out of McDonald's All-American, maybe they're an In-N-Out All-American. I know some people swear by In-N-Out. You ever have an In-N-Out burger?
I have, yeah.
Deuce,
that's good.
Deuce loves the In-N-Out burger.
I don't know if it's any better than Culver's.
No, In-N-Out. As a matter of fact, baby brother Peter and I, we don't really think that highly of In-N-Out burger. What do they call it? Their animal style? Where they'll throw like chili on it or so. I don't know what they do. But anyway, I just don't know how much of it. And getting back to, that's what people would say about the goal. Well, who are you going to get that's better? Who are you going to get that's better? Well, I don't know. Unless you try, you won't know. Like, for instance, there were people that said with Ben Johnson, well, who are you going to get that's better? Well, now we have, who's the new basketball? Is it is his name
Nico Medved?
Nico Medved. He has a nice track record. You know, he's sort of Fleck-like in maybe not in demeanor, in personality, but he kind of has that, because he's kind of won everywhere he's won. And wasn't Fleck the same way? Fleck won at Northern Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, Southern Michigan, Northeastern Central Michigan. And I think Medved has kind of won everywhere he's gone. So is Medved better than Ben Johnson? I guess we won't know until we see Nico Medved coach this year and then give him a few years. Was Fleck better than Tracy Claeys? I don't know. I don't know if he's much better than Jerry Kill. You know, and I don't want to go down to Kill, what happened there with him and Claeys and all the investigations and this and that and the other thing. And, you know, the health issues that Kill had that forced his hand to leave the club. But there are probably managers that are better than Baldelli that you maybe could get, but then how much does that cost you? What manager would really want to come here? I mean, there are guys that would take the first ever managerial job, or guys that have, you know, they're hanging on to their career. A managerial job of one of the 32 teams in Big League Baseball is better than no managerial job at all. But if you're one of the highly regarded guys, you got no payroll to work with. They stripped your bullpen to the brass tacks. You've got
and they're going to cut the payroll more?
And they're going to probably cut the payroll more. I don't see why they wouldn't compared to what they've done. You've got a Lopez, got dinged again at the end of the year. He should be healthy next year, but I don't know. And then who's our other guy? Joe Ryan? He seems disgruntled. He spoke out publicly about how disappointed he was that he agreed with me, and I got pilloried for it when I suggested the Twins should have done everything they could have to re-sign Sonny Gray. And he said that, and I got ripped for that. Sonny Gray, look what he did since he left. Well, you don't know what he's going to do before he leaves. He was a runner-up to the Cy Young Award, for crying out loud, and Sonny Gray and Lopez both said they missed him. He was a leader in the clubhouse, in the pitching room, if they have rooms. I don't know if they do that Major League Baseball. We know they do it in football, and so I don't know. And then do we even trust the Twins? I mean, the last time they hired somebody for at a position, Falvey's position, Jim Pohlad said he was paging through the Cleveland media guide and saw, hey, Derek Falvey. And read about him and said, let's get that guy. So do we trust Joe Pohlad, the kid who, when the Twins claimed they were for sale, they never really were for sale, right? When you ask for that much money, you know you're not going to get. I don't even know why they said. Maybe they were just hoping to bamboozle somebody. If somebody would have bought out the $400 million in debt and paid him the $1.9 billion, whatever, they would have said, we may as well get out. We're getting a really good deal here. But I don't know if they really had any intention of selling the team. If you ask, Timmy, if I told you can buy my house for $2 million, well, you're not going to buy it because it's not worth $2 million. So was it really for sale? No. I guess technically you could say it was because I put it on the market for $2 million. But I ain't going to get $2 million for it. So, but if you remember, Joe said we don't want to sell the team, but I still want to be the guy calling the shots.
Huh?
Go back to, I used this house analogy with you before. Tennessee, you can buy my house, but I'm still going to live there.
Huh?
No, I'm buying the house and you're moving out. I'm moving my family, and I don't need you, and I don't want you to be the Belushi character in The Thing That Wouldn't Leave back in 1975, back in the early days of Saturday Night Live. So
I think Baldelli's not going anywhere.
I tend to agree.
Because, one, you could say, well, yeah, typically coaches or managers that are 70, 92 get let go. I'd also say, well, one, they trimmed salary over the last 2 years, and then two, they traded away half the team. Like you can't blame the record completely on the manager in that regard. And then two, you and I have known for a long time that they are the penny pinching Pohlads. They are pinching pennies more now than they ever have. And there's no way they are going to fire Baldelli with 1 year left on his contract and then pay another manager at the same time. I just don't buy it. I don't think it's going to happen. So he will be the manager to start this year. And then maybe after this year or maybe in the middle of the year, they'll make a decision on him. But he will start the year as the manager.
And it's
because it'll cost him money to go elsewhere.
Right. And even if you are a fan that feels they need to make a change in the managerial chair, what difference does it really make going into next year? Unless the Twins had a news conference and said, we're reversing course. We're going to push our payroll to up near $200 million. We're going to be players in the free agent market. Well, then you might say, maybe need a different manager to handle that approach. But the Twins aren't going to do that. It's like you just said, they're probably going to cut payroll even more. And so, because as long as there is no...
I'm worried like a guy like Joe Ryan's not going to be here this year.
Yeah, well,
I think they're going to do something like that because he's going to get paid eventually.
Lopez, too.
I think they're going to cut more money.
I can't I can't argue with you on that point. But
the problem they're going to have is they can cut salary, but they are now at the point where fans are fed up with the ownership. And so, you're not going to recoup that money on the other side. It's not like you're going to cut that salary and you're still getting the same attendance. I do think that the fans are going to revolt even more if you start cutting salary. So I would be careful if I were the Pohlad family.
You know whose fault all of this is? Me. Ask Suhan and Lavelle. They said that I've been criticizing the Pohlads in the way they operate the team for 30 years, and the only reason I was doing it was because you and I got together and said, what do you think the listeners want to hear? That, in other words, even if I really didn't believe that, but I do believe it, let's say I didn't, I would just say, because I think the listeners want me to blame the Pohlads. So let's just go with that. That's what they said that on a podcast. So I guess it's true. I guess that's what I did. It's all my fault that the Twins don't spend any money and the team is where it is right now. And you're absolutely right. I think it has gotten to the point where even those that thought you and I were full of it and any of the others that were critical of the Pohlads and that, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game and you will root for the home team. I think there are people that are finally saying it's just not worth it to me. There are so many other entertainment options out there. And in the summer, sports-wise, there's not as many, right? You have the Lynx. But basketball and baseball so different. And then I guess, the Loons seem to play year-round. I don't think they're ever not playing. They play in the winter, spring, summer, fall. I don't know when. So there's not a lot. So that's the one thing the Twins have going for them. But you're right. When you, I've done the restaurant analogy forever. If the restaurant's not any good in your neighborhood, you stop going. If the baseball team's not any good in your neighborhood, you stop going. My wife and I and Deuce went to a St. Paul Saints game. Fraction of the cost, and it's fun. I mean, again, it's games that don't matter, and the Twins games don't matter. So what's the difference? So let's take a break and come back. 1 more hour to go. More Vikings controversial news. Other side of the break. Common Man program on the Fan.